Okay, make sure y'all stay up and y'all watch 24/7 HH. It's going down. This your boy Pimpin Ken. We gonna give y'all some of this cyber gang. Believe that, man. Big things popping, little things dropping. Hey, man, what can I say, man? You don't believe what I say? Check the resume, Jay.
Yeah, y'all talking about your pimping around here, man. Hey, man, pimping is art, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Let me give you an example of white privilege, right? So if you were a owner of a bank and say my man here who's white and I'm black, his name is Ray Ray and my name is Timothy. I have a white name and he has a black name. So he applied for a job. Hey, my name is Ray Ray. I'm from the block, you know what I'm saying, and I want to get a job. You know, I don't have that many qualifications, but you know, or no, he could say, no, I'm very smart, I'm very intelligent, blah blah blah, and I got all these degrees. Now I come as Timothy. Hey, I'm white. I don't really have that many, degrees. I'm a proud white American, blah 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 blah. Because of that, you know, most people that are European who takes that applicant, they would pick me just because of his name, his zip code. You know what I'm saying? That's white privilege. You know, if he go in the store and I go in the store, they're gonna watch me. They're not gonna watch him. He can be the biggest thief. As innocent as he look, he can be the biggest thief. But because of white privileges, they're not gonna mess with him. You see what I'm saying? Another form of white privilege is, you know, like if me and him was buddies and we grew up together, right? And we both go apply for a job, you know, and I'm more qualified, and they give him the job. He's not going to say, Ken, you're more qualified. I know you're more qualified, and you should get the job. He's going to benefit from his white privilege. He's going to be like, man, you know what I'm saying? I love Ken, but I really need this job, even though he know that I'm more qualified for it. So white privilege comes in different things. It was a comedian. He dead now. I forget his name, but he said, I don't know why white people want to be black. Why are you wasting all that white privileges? You guys got some. I mean, he right though. You know what I'm saying? It's more beneficial to be white in this country than it is to be black, because you do have a privilege, you know. And a lot of white people don't notice it. The only time white people acknowledge white privilege is if it's reverse discrimination. Then they'll say, hold on, wait, I'm white. You know, if it was a place where, you know, it was black and white and they was discriminated, they were like, hey, you can't do that to me. You know what I'm saying? You're discriminating against me. You know what I'm saying? But if it's discrimination on the part of the black person, it doesn't matter as much, you know what I'm saying, to a white person, because they don't have to never deal with it. You know, they never had to deal with the stuff that black folks deal. So white privilege is coming all sizes and disguises, you know, and, you know, you see it, you know, on different levels, you know, but, you know, I think, you know, most white people are racist, you know what I'm saying, not intentionally, but they call it unconscious biases. So unconscious biases is that, you know, you're benefiting from your complexion because you got the complexion for the connection, and, you know, there's certain things that you know that are yours because of your complexion, and because of that, you know, you want to invoke your whiteness. You know what I mean? And that's called unconscious biases, you know. And if they put you know, and it's just society, you know, racism is real. Like if they put 5 black kids in a room and they gave them 5 black dolls, and they said, which doll is pretty, the black doll or the white doll? They said 9 times out of 10 they pick the white doll. You know, the girls will want to play with the white doll because of unconscious biases, because of systemic racism, because of white supremacy. And that's how deep it is. It's a psychological thing, you know, and we all are affected by it. We don't even know we're affected by it. A lot of my friends, you know, that's white, you know, we had this conversation sometime, they be like, yeah, man, you're right. I do have privileges, you know, and I am happy to be white, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of black folks, you know, they be like, man, I wish I was white. You know, that's how bad the problem is. You got people who born black, you know, genetically black, but wish they was white. What you go through, you grow through. You know, the roads that you take to get to your destiny is not going to be the ones to get you there. It's going to be your detours. You know, adversity creates destiny. You know, I think it was Shakespeare said, "Sweet is adversity." You know, what he meant was that it's only through adversity and through failure that real men find themselves. You know, I mean, I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, "I failed 10,000 times." They said, "Why did you quit?" He said, "Because I ran out of things to fail in. And on the 10,000th time, I succeeded." So, you know, it's the adversity, it's the trauma, it's where we come from. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I always tell people, you know, you don't want to be Pimpin Ken. You got to get shot 4, 5 different times. You got to go to prison for so many years. You know, you got to be in gunfights. You got to be in drama. You know, you got to make millions, lose millions. There's a whole bunch of stuff to be in Pimpin Ken. But what you go through, you grow through. That's what shapes you. That's what gives you the character. You know, it was the time in my cell when I was reading Business Weekly and Entrepreneur and, you know, Rob Report, stuff like that. You know, just using my creative imagination that I was shaping the person that I was coming. But if you would have put me in a crystal ball and told me that 10 years from now I would be here, I would have been like, him must think I'm crazy. You know, I wouldn't have knew that. But, you know, it's the things that I went through, you know, being shot, you know, it made me kind of back up off the streets a little bit. Like, man, you know, these were some dudes, you know, that could have been my friends, you know, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it made me back up. You know, being incarcerated, you know, it goes back to the white privilege thing. We was talking about having little rural white dudes who was my age, you know, talk to me like I was a slave. Like, hey, boy, go in your room. You know, that affected me, you know. And me yearning and thirsty to try to get up out of my situation, you know. And then once I met HBO, which was in '96, and the opportunity come to work with HBO and to help, you know, if you look at the credits, my name on there, help. I was I think they had me as the advisor. I can't remember, it's been so many years ago, but working with them and them allowing me to shoot my movie at the same time, that entrepreneurial spirit kicked in. And then being, like I said, what you go through, you grow through. So going to Universal or going to Columbia Records to sign a contract to be on, like you was telling me to sign the contract earlier, to be on Jermaine Dupri's album. You know, have to read the contract, had to go and set up me a publishing company, you know, and then doing it again on 50 Cent album, doing it again on Too Short album and Lil Jon album. So as you go, you grow. So I'm learning about businesses now. I'm learning about publishing, you know, then working with Pimp C, you know, helping him, you know, with his management side, you know, booking shows and stuff like that. So after a while, you know, I found myself going from, you know, wanting to be the big pimp of all times to, you know, being a businessman to making money, actual money from my DVDs to actually getting a phone call for Simon Schuster and writing a book. Now, I didn't know I could write a book, but when I was in prison, right, I was writing for the Moore Science Temple. I was writing their literature. You know, I was writing their literature, their Sunday school teachers. So now, you know, all that writing and going to college while I was in prison and taking English 101 or 102, you know, now I'm sitting, you know, and somebody offered me $250,000 and they gave me $125,000. I want the other 25. Now I find myself writing. Now, oh, you have skills, you got writing skills. So all that stuff kind of came from what I went through. You know what I'm saying? What you go through, you grow. What you go through, you grow through. So I was growing all the time. You know, the steps of a good man is ordered by the creator who was never created. You know, I mean, he was setting me up. You know, it wasn't accidental. It was no coincidence. It was all things that would lead me to where I was. So my articulation and my ability to use the keen language may have been that year or two I spent in what they call that stuff, confinement, in the hole in prison, and I'm learning the King's language. So, you know, now when I go before Simon Schuster, I'm sitting in the boardroom and I'm being articulate, I'm speaking well, I'm like, okay, this was all about. You know, me writing and writing well and, you know, and I had a co-author, but she said, you don't need me. She said, you're an excellent writer. I didn't know I was an excellent writer. But I do remember taking English 101. I learned the 5 paragraph forms, and I learned how, to write and, to get an A, to pass the class. So a lot of stuff started regurgitating and started coming up out of me. So, that's how you get to the businessman. And then once you get in the business, then you start, researching. So, I'm on YouTube researching, I'm reading books, and I'm like, okay, now I'm in the literary space. I'm a literary agent. What this all entails of this. What this all entails. And then I'm into hip hop. So of course, me having experience being, have my own publishing, company, because I am receiving money for publishing because I've been on millions of records, right? So now I can teach other artists, So I said, yeah, ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, TuneCore, NFTs, NFCs, blockchain, cryptology. Now I can speak that language because I'm actually being connected to it. Then, monetizing on YouTube. I hear that word all the time, monetize. Now I have my own podcast, Pimpin Ken Podcast, where I do a show called View from the Game. So now I'm on here. Now I'm learning about YouTube. So I'm teaching classes on YouTube now. I got to, how to make money on YouTube. So I'm teaching people about this stuff. I'm teaching people what I've learned, and I think, had I not, been, people in my ear talking about some monetization, I would have never perused or I would have never dabbed into that, So now that I dabbed into it, I said, oh man, let me break it down. Let me give the people the game on how to get paid on YouTube, how to, use extra measures, to excel to the next level. And so that's how you get to, the businessman.